Welcome back to the Standing in the Gaps News Deep Dive. And today we're diving into a story, well, honestly, it sounds like it's straight out of Hollywood. We're talking about Sean Duffy. This guy went from swinging axes on reality TV to wielding power at the U.S. Department of Transportation.
It's definitely a career trajectory that has raised some eyebrows. And that's what we're going to unpack today. How someone with this crazy diverse background ended up in charge of America's roads, bridges, and airplanes.
Seriously, Duffy's resume is like a choose-your-own-adventure novel. Reality TV star, lawyer, district attorney, congressman, and now transportation secretary under President Trump. It's almost unbelievable. What do you think's the most surprising part of his journey so far? Let us know down in the comments.
What I think is so fascinating about this whole thing is that while these experiences might seem totally unrelated, there are these subtle threads that connect them, almost like clues leading up to this current position.
Okay, I am intrigued. Let's rewind to the beginning. Duffy's story starts in Hayward, Wisconsin. He grew up as one of 11 kids in an Irish Catholic family. His dad was a lumberjack, and Duffy himself became a world champion lumberjack athlete.
It really paints a picture of a very specific upbringing, one that you wouldn't think would scream future politician.
You'd think he'd be more likely to open a logging company than head of a federal agency. But then he goes to St. Mary's University, plays football, joins a fraternity, and then gets a law degree from William Mitchell College of Law.
And that unexpected turn comes in the form of reality TV. In 1997, Duffy appears on MTV's The Real World Boston. All of a sudden, he's thrust into the national spotlight, but not for his legal skills.
Here's where it gets really interesting. He does a bunch more reality shows, like Road Rules and Battle of the Seasons. It makes you wonder, what did he learn from that experience? That could possibly be relevant to leading the Department of Transportation.
Well, it's easy to dismiss reality TV as just pure entertainment.
Maybe he honed his ability to connect with people, sell his ideas, navigate complex situations, all while being totally comfortable in front of the cameras. Those are all valuable assets in any leadership role. What happened after his reality TV days? Did he go back to law?
He did. Duffy became the district attorney of Ashland County, Wisconsin. Serving from 2002 to 2010, he handled over 100 trials with a 90% success rate, which suggests a pretty sharp legal mind.
So he was building this solid legal career. Was this a sign of things to come, or was his political ambition already brewing?
In 2010, he rode the Tea Party wave into Congress, representing Wisconsin's 7th District. During his time in Congress, Duffy focused mainly on financial services and co-chaired the Great Lakes Task Force, which has some ties to transportation for that region.
Even though his path seems all over the place, there were these hints of his interest in policy and government. It's not a straight line, but it's not totally random either. Duffy resigned from Congress in 2019 to care for his daughter, who has a heart defect.
It's a good reminder that politicians are real people. They have families and personal challenges, just like everyone else. But Duffy's political voice didn't fade away after he left Congress. In fact, it got amplified.
This is where the Fox News connection comes in. After leaving Congress, Duffy went to Fox Business. He was a host on The Bottom Line with Dagan McDowell, so he was back in the media world, keeping his political views front and center. And this connection is key, because President Trump tends to favor folks with media experience.
Duffy's time at Fox News gave him a platform to build relationships and stay relevant in the political sphere, which ultimately positioned him for his next move, and perhaps his most surprising move.
Okay, everyone, buckle up, because here's where it gets truly mind-blowing. In 2024, President Trump nominates Sean Duffy, the former reality TV star, lumberjack athlete, and Fox News host, to be the next U.S. Transportation Secretary. It's a move that left a lot of people scratching their heads.
It's a nomination that raises questions about the qualifications needed for such a critical role. Is political loyalty and media savvy enough to lead a complex agency like the Department of Transportation?
Despite the lack of direct experience in transportation, Duffy was confirmed by the Senate in January 2025. This speaks volumes about the political climate and the power of connections in Washington. What were your initial thoughts when you heard about this appointment? Share your reactions in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you.
I think for me it was a very clear sign that we're in uncharted territory when it comes to political appointments. Duffy's background is so unconventional that it really challenges our assumptions about what it means to be qualified to lead in government.
Absolutely. And his very first move as secretary only added fuel to the fire, so to speak, almost immediately after taking office. Duffy ordered a revision of fuel economy standards, with the goal of lowering car prices. It was a signal that he was ready to shake things up.
Yeah.
But it also raised concerns about the potential environmental impact.
Yeah, it was a bold move for sure, and a very clear indicator of Duffy's approach and priorities. He's clearly willing to make waves and challenge the status quo. The question is, will this approach lead to positive change or unintended consequences?
That's the big question, isn't it? And it's one we'll be exploring further as we delve deeper into Duffy's actions as Transportation Secretary. But before we move on, I want to take a moment to remind everyone to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the news that matters. And if you're enjoying the content, please consider supporting us on GoFundMe. We're trying to raise money for better equipment, like webcams, studio microphones, and editing computers, so we can continue to bring you insightful and engaging content. Every little bit helps.
Sponsor break, vidIQ. Are you a YouTube content creator trying to grow your channel? vidIQ is the ultimate AI-powered tool that helps you rank higher in search results, get more views, and crack the YouTube algorithm. Find the best keywords to make your videos trend. Analyze your competition to see what's working. AI-powered video ideas to help you create content people want to watch. Real-time analytics so you can grow faster. Stop guessing, start growing. Try vidIQ today. Click the link in the description. Have you used vidIQ before? Tell us in the comments if you've tried it and what you think.
Now let's get back to Duffy's story. This decision on fuel economy standards, well, that was just the beginning.
Duffy's decision to revise those fuel economy standards really throws a wrench into the gears, doesn't it? It sparked these heated debates, and a lot of people are left wondering, what direction is he taking the Department of Transportation in?
It definitely adds another layer of complexity to this already fascinating story. You've got people praising him for putting affordability first, especially now, when a lot of Americans are struggling financially. On the other hand, you have environmental groups and experts sounding the alarm about the potential long-term consequences for the planet.
It's a classic example of the tough choices that policymakers face. There are often competing interests and values at play. And finding the right balance, well, it's not easy.
You're right, it's easy to get caught up in the headlines without really understanding how big this agency is that Duffy's now leading. What exactly does the DOT oversee?
The Department of Transportation. It's this massive federal agency with a really wide-ranging mission. They're responsible for everything from regulating airlines and ensuring highway safety to investing in infrastructure projects and promoting new innovations in transportation technology. We're talking billions of dollars and tens of thousands of employees, all working to keep America moving.
Wow, that is a lot to handle. No wonder people were surprised by Duffy's appointment. He went from reality TV drama to managing this complex bureaucracy. That affects every American's life.
And it's not just about managing the day-to-day operations either. The DOT plays a crucial role in shaping the future of transportation. So things like investing in high-speed rail, autonomous vehicles, and addressing climate change. Reducing our reliance on fossil fuels. It's all a part of it.
How's Duffy handling this massive responsibility? We know he's not afraid to make big moves, like that fuel economy standards revision. What other areas has he been focusing on?
Besides the fuel economy issue, he's been very vocal about wanting to streamline regulations, especially for infrastructure projects. His argument is that too much red tape is slowing down construction and driving up costs, which makes it harder to modernize and improve our transportation systems.
It definitely aligns with the Trump administration's overall deregulatory agenda. But are Duffy's claims valid? Is regulation really the main thing that's stopping us from having efficient infrastructure development?
It's complicated. There's no easy answers here. On the one hand, regulations are essential. We need them to protect public safety and the environment. They're how we ensure that bridges don't collapse, that airlines are following safety protocols, that transportation projects don't have unintended negative consequences. On the other hand, too many regulations can cause unnecessary delays. They can increase costs and even stifle innovation. Finding that right balance, that's the tricky part.
It seems like Duffy is leaning heavily towards deregulation, which isn't surprising given his political background. How's this approach going over with the people who work at the DOT? They're the ones on the ground, implementing these policies, dealing with the day-to-day challenges of keeping our transportation systems running.
That's a really great question, and one that I think often gets overlooked. The DOT has a large workforce of career civil servants. A lot of them have dedicated their lives to public service. They've seen a lot of secretaries come and go, each with their own style and priorities. So how are they adjusting to Duffy's leadership?
It's got to be a culture clash, right? You have experienced professionals who get the ins and outs of transportation policy, And then you have Duffy, the political outsider.
From what we've gathered, it's been mixed. Some employees appreciate Duffy's energy and his willingness to shake things up. They see him as a breath of fresh air, someone who can bring new ideas to the table. But then others are more skeptical. They're concerned about his lack of experience and his focus on getting rid of regulations. They worry he'll make rash decisions without fully understanding all the complexities involved.
Sounds like there's some tension brewing within the DOT. It'll be interesting to see how this dynamic plays out. Will Duffy win over the skeptics? Will he build strong working relationships with the career staff? Or will his outsider status create more division and resistance? Do you think Duffy can bridge the gap between his political agenda and the reality of running a huge federal agency? Let us know in the comments.
It's definitely a challenge he'll need to overcome if he wants to be successful. Leading an organization like the DOT, it takes more than just political savvy and big pronouncements. You need collaboration, diplomacy, a deep understanding of the people and systems you're leading. Duffy has his work cut out for him, and it's a situation we'll continue to watch closely.
It's important to remember that the decisions made at the DOT, they have real-world consequences for all of us. The safety of our roads, the efficiency of our transportation systems, the cost of travel, the environmental impact of transportation. These are all issues directly affected by the DOT's policies and priorities. Duffy's time as secretary is likely to be a defining moment for the agency and for the future of transportation in America.
It's a story that's still unfolding. We'll look closer at the potential consequences of Duffy's policies, the challenges he's facing, and the long-term effects of his leadership. Make sure to stick around for the final part of our deep dive, where we'll explore the bigger picture and what all this means for the future of transportation in America.
Before we move on, we want to give a quick shout-out to everyone who supported our GoFundMe campaign. Your contributions are really helping us upgrade our equipment and reach a wider audience. With our unique style of political analysis, we're so grateful for your support. And for those of you who haven't yet, please check out the campaign and consider donating. We're working hard to make the Standing in the Gaps News Deep Dive your go-to source for in-depth, unbiased reporting on the issues that matter most. Now let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll wrap up our deep dive.
Do you believe in standing strong for what's right? Do you value faith, freedom, and biblical truth in today's ever-changing world? Then we've got something special for you. Welcome to the Standing in the Gaps merch store, the official store of the Standing in the Gaps podcast, where we explore the social, economic, and political issues of today through a biblical lens. Here's what we've got for you. T-shirts that help you make a bold statement everywhere you go. Whether you're standing up for truth or sparking conversations, our shirts reflect the spirit of standing in the gap. Need fuel for those long, thoughtful mornings or deep dive discussions? We've got premium coffee, roasted to perfection, along with sturdy mugs designed to hold that truth-fueled brew. Want to represent your values wherever life takes you? Grab one of our stylish hats to keep you covered, literally and figuratively. And don't miss our inspirational prints that you can frame and hang up at home or in your office, a daily reminder to stand firm in faith. But that's not all. From accessories to gifts, we've got a variety of items that let you stand out while standing strong for what you believe in. Every purchase supports the mission of Standing in the Gaps, helping us continue bringing you insightful content, meaningful conversations, and the courage to face the tough topics. So, what are you waiting for? Visit Standing in the Gaps merch store today. Link is in the description. Grab some gear, enjoy some great coffee, and help us keep bridging the gap in today's world. Together, let's stand for truth. Together, let's stand in the gap.
Now I want to zoom out a little and look at the bigger picture here. What does Duffy's appointment and his whole approach to leading the DOT tell us about where American politics are at today?
That's a really interesting question, and it's one that I think really gets at this whole shifting landscape of power and influence in our country. Duffy's rise really shows how powerful the media is, especially when it comes to politics. You know, his experience on reality TV and his connections to Fox News, I mean, those definitely played a role in his getting to where he is.
It's like those lines between entertainment, the media, and politics. They've just become more and more blurred. Duffy's story almost suggests that name recognition and the ability to connect with people on an emotional level, maybe those things are just as valuable now.
That's a really key takeaway here. It makes you think about what we actually value in our leaders. What qualifications are the most important? For someone holding a really high-level position in government, is it enough to be a good communicator and a media personality? Or do we still need that expertise, the experience and understanding of complex policy?
That's a debate that's happening all over the country. And Duffy's appointment has definitely added more fuel to that fire, some people say. His lack of direct experience in transportation. That's a big problem. But others think that his outsider status and a fresh perspective could actually be good things.
There's no simple answer here, and only time will tell what kind of impact Duffy will have on the Department of Transportation. What we've seen so far, particularly his push to get rid of regulations, that suggests he's ready to shake things up, challenge how things are done.
It's a risky move, and one that could have major consequences down the road. The DOT's decisions affect everyone in America, whether it's the safety of our roads and bridges, the cost of traveling, or the environmental impact of all that transportation. Duffy's policies, they're going to shape the future of transportation in this country.
That's why it's so important for all of us to be involved and engaged in this whole political process. We need to hold our leaders accountable, ask tough questions, and make sure our voices are heard. It's the only way we can shape the future of transportation and the future of our country.
I couldn't agree more. Sean Duffy's journey, from reality TV lumberjack to transportation secretary. It's a story that's definitely surprised a lot of people, even confused some. But it's also a story that's really got people thinking. It shows just how much American politics are changing, and it highlights how powerful the media has become. We hope this deep dive has shed some light on this pretty unconventional guy, and we hope it sparks some interesting conversations.
We really encourage you, keep exploring this topic. Share your own thoughts and what you think in the comments. We love hearing from you.
And before we wrap up, we want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has supported our GoFundMe campaign. You're making a real difference. You're helping us get better equipment and reach even more people. If you haven't had a chance to check out the campaign yet, please go do it. Every little bit helps us keep going. Keep providing that unbiased and insightful reporting on the issues that really matter.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll be back next time with another interesting story from the world of news and politics. Until then, stay informed, stay engaged, and keep those comments coming.
From all of us here at the Standing in the Gaps News Deep Dive team, thank you for listening.